All right, Sedge. I know we've covered the MFS before.
Where you been?
That's for another video. I'm glad to be back though, but what the heck is this thing?
Okay, so in the previous video, I showed you how to set up the MFS.
Sure did.
It has been a month or two since I've seen you, so you'll probably forget.
It's a little bit.
Okay, one of the greatest things about the MFS, and you're gonna learn in this video, is this piece and this piece in a 30mm template guide is one of the ultimate variable jigs to swing circles. Whoa. So stay tuned, I'm gonna show you how to set it up. So what's half of 10?
5.
Perfect. So in this video, I'm gonna show you to set this up and how easy it is. Chris, come in here and check out this scale. See the scale right here? This scale here will correspond to it. So what we wanna do is we wanna adjust our MFS to bring it in. So first of all, I'm gonna loosen this one here, and I'm gonna loosen this here. And I'm gonna bring it in. See how it comes in? And it captures it right here.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna have you do is tighten this one.
Okay.
Okay. And as you do that, then come down here and bring this down. And you wanna make sure it's sandwiched in there and tighten that one.
Tighten this one, all right. There we go.
Perfect, so now this slides up and down. Okay, now the next part is this trammel point.
Oh.
Okay, this is a 4mm diameter, and where this lives is on the first hole, and you'll see as I slide it in, it lines up exactly in the center.
Oh wow.
Of this piece right here.
That's cool.
Yep, so go ahead and tighten that.
All right.
Now it's always on that first rib of this extrusion.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so now this scale comes into play.
Okay.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut a template that we can use a pattern cutting bit on. And I use this 1/2" material. I just had some scrap. Yeah, it's a nice veneer, it's cherry. But we want basically a 12" emphasis, diameter.
Okay.
Okay, so circle.
All right.
Okay, now there's a difference, and I'll show you a schematic in a few minutes. There's a difference between a circle and a hole. What do we want to keep? What are we trying to keep? Okay, that's why I asked you what's half of 10.
Okay.
Okay, now that's important because that's the size of our router bit. It's 10mm. Whew. I really hate it when I'm going through this because sometimes it's a little confusing, but you'll see how it'll open up. Okay, so let's just do a quick conversion. 12" diameter is 300mm roughly. Mm-hmm. What's half? What's the radius of that, or the radii of that?
150.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna set this up.
All right.
Okay, I want to maximize my board here, so I'm just gonna do some quick layout, and I'll show you why I did that. So what I want to point out is I'm just going to do some quick layout here, and I'll show you why I'm doing this in a few minutes. I want to do a crosshair. So that is my line this way, and I want to bring this way so I don't have a lot of waste on this. Okay, so I need that point right there. So in that crosshair, this measures out 8mm, so we'll just take an 8mm bit and drill it out. The reason we do this, yes, there's a hole in there. This is why it's a pattern.
Oh, okay.
This is the way I like to do it. I like to make the pattern and then take it to the table, or what I need, that 300mm diameter circle.
All right. Like a glove, baby. Oh, wow.
Now, one of the things you'll want to do is when we clamp this, and you'll see how I have it clamped, I use the clamping elements and I use these low profile, is when I swing this, okay, it won't be in the way, okay, where if I had this right here, that might hit.
Gotcha.
So that's why I have this additional piece of MDF that's 1/2 inch to let me swing that.
Wicked smart.
Okay. Okay, I got the 10mm bit on there, and I want you to, Chris, come in here so you can see this. This is 30mm and it fits right in there.
Oh, wow.
So when I take this and we put it in here, Big D,
okay.
Go ahead. That's a self-centering template guide, so it locks right in. So now we have to talk about this scale right here. So 15 is 15 centimeters. And if I set this, see the 0? And this is why you have this vernier scale. Okay, if I set it at 15 and lock it in, okay, you won't get a 12-inch circle. Okay, it won't be. It'll be 2.5mm short, and the hole will be 2.5, because that's the exact center of the router bit.
Okay.
So there's a little schematic in the instructions of the MFS. I blew this up. So we want, and when we look at this, there's that 30mm template guide. There's your router bit. Okay, that's the little screw that we're going to tighten here in a minute. What radius do we want? Do we want radius 1? So we set it 5mm on the scale. Do we want radius 2, which is the outside of the bit? That would be a hole. I always would show people, do you want the hole as your template, or do you want the wheel or the circle as your template?
Oh, okay.
So we want the circle.
Yes, we do.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this. You see zeros lining up with 15. We know we gotta go 5mm because why?
Because of the
10mm bit. So here is a tip I'm going to tell you, because what's happening now is as I tighten down this 3mm hex, this part here is starting to spread.
Okay.
Okay, now what's really important is this is one that you really tighten and you torque it. Ooh. That way there, it won't move on you. Okay, and sometimes I'll even come up and do it again, because I've been using this and spinning with that bit spinning at 22,000 RPM, and they don't meet at the end because this has moved ever so slightly. So make sure you really torque it in there.
It's important. All right, Sedge, what's next?
Ooh, haven't heard that in a while. Okay, let's take this a step further.
Okay.
Because I want to show you the micro adjust on this router. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take a quick depth reading, okay, or thickness reading. This is basically 12mm thick. A board, okay? Good. I mean, it says 11, but I could probably take it over here and it says 12. All right. Now, do I want to take that 1/2 inch or 12mm all at once? Absolutely not. So what I like to do is I like to keep things easy. I'm going to have you press this down and lock the head. Okay, so now you're at ground zero, right? Okay,
yes,
and this is moving up and down. We're at ground zero. Okay, we're going to take a 6mm domino. We're going to take half that distance of 12, and we'll lock it in. And I'll show you how to run this.
Sounds good.
Good. Good.
Full quarter turn. Okay. Auto. You're on auto. Good to go.
We get the 6mm depth, basically half the thickness of this board. Okay, so I want you to pay attention on how I'm going to do it, and about halfway through, I'll let you finish it.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I'm going to start it up. Okay. Lock it on. Okay, so I did it about halfway. All right.
I see that.
That point is locked solid. There's a lot of the times I'll do this where I'm swinging it and we'll bring it right over. I'm going to have you get started here like this. Okay. Sometimes it's good to hold it here if it's not. If you have a little bit of play, but always make sure you're plunged in and you're just rotating it, and let's have you bring it around to the end.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna check the depth, see how we did. Okay. Oh, look at that, 6 millimeters.
Boom.
Okay. Now this is important. We could go another 6 millimeters and cut through, but we want to save this piece. And sometimes when you're new at this, that circle wants to shift in there.
Sure.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take it, I have it in there like this, right? I'm gonna bottom it out, and I'm gonna go, we're gonna go 5 millimeters this time.
Okay.
Okay, did you see how I have the micro adjust set at 0?
Yep.
Each one of these clicks in here, or points, or numbers, is 1/10 of a millimeter. We'll do a final pass and cut it paper thin. Okay, so I did this for effect. You see how that's cut all the way through into the MDF? We're gonna micro adjust so we can cut a little bit thinner, and you'll see how you can go paper thin. So each one of these clicks, Chris, come in here so you can see it. I wanna cut a little bit thinner on there. So to leave it intact, you'll see momentarily what I'm talking about. So you see how I have zeros lined up? If I go up in the scale 1, okay, each one of those is 1/10 of a millimeter.
Oh, wow.
So when I look down in here, okay, because I've cut all the way through on that, I'm gonna say, you know what, 1 more 1/10 of a millimeter is gonna be about right. So let's run it.
All right, let's do it.
So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna turn the micro adjust and go 1 more 1/10 so you can see how paper thin we can get this. Okay, so hopefully you understand the reason we went paper thin was when I hold this up, you'll see that now we can just use a razor blade and we still have the integrity of that circle. And sometimes you can see right through there, but hopefully you can see how paper thin that is.
Wow.
So what I'm gonna do, let's have some fun with this. Let's go and do it 1 more step.
All right, let's do it.
So just by dialing it in a few clicks, 1/10 of a millimeter at a time, okay? Did you see how this did not shift in its circle? Okay, but Chris, come in here so see this. What we're hitting right here is the back side of the cherry veneer. So when I pick this up and look at it, you're going to see how that's paper thin, just like that as I hold it up to the light.
Yeah.
So it's even simple just like this, where now I can take this, so we could take it and just nice and easy take that out. And that is so thin and it didn't shift. Just like that, and just a little trimming up. We have absolutely perfect. Let's check it out. Let's see if these measurements worked out. Oh, look at that. 300 millimeter diameter circle. Now, I never throw this stuff away because there's sometimes we'll need that. We can also have a pattern bit on here.
Yeah.
And utilize that as well.
You get a slightly smaller circle.
So just some quick sanding of that veneer to make it perfect. Look at that, it's like paper on there.
That's awesome.
And now you have a perfect circle. Hey, and like we always say in the SedgeTool shop,
be positive.
Stay sharp.